We come and drill you. 2 styrofoam cups up, we gon' come and spill you. When the bill due, young dude, we gon' come to bill you. I pulled up to the chicken spot, got a 6-piece, 1 biscuit and a stupid watch. Yeah, I pulled up to the chicken spot, got a 6-piece, 1 biscuit and a stupid watch. I got a bad bitch, yeah, she got a stupid box. Stupid die, you ain't getting shit from me, baby, stop. Diamond rings, pearly thing, you must think I'm stupid, huh? We ain't stupid now, well educated. Filet o fish, niggas never seen the fish scale. They always talking shit, nigga, I just wish you well. Niggas want the drugs, give them quarter flip to wish you well. Yeah, I pulled up to the chicken spot, got a 6-piece, 1 biscuit and a stupid watch. Silly, I pulled up to the chicken spot, got a 6-piece, 1 biscuit and a stupid watch. For really, yeah, I get much and plenty. Most your niggas still in the well, wishing for a penny. All the way you're proud, nigga, choose now. When the biscuit up to your head, you better speak loud. Cause all my niggas ruthless, some of them niggas toothless. They ain't got nothing to live for, they shoot shit. And we talking about the beat, pull up to the roof, Chris. I'ma have you served well done on a toothpick. Spin around your block like a motherfucking fire spit. Nigga, we ain't camping, nah, man, this shit intense. Heard you talking shit on the block, but what's your intent, pussy nigga? Yeah, I pulled up to the chicken spot, got a 6-piece, 1 biscuit and a stupid watch. Bitch.
Yo, welcome back to another episode of the Cypher. We're back for episode number 32. We are still in the process of a crazy election. Votes are still being counted. Looking like things are still going to be figured out later into the day, maybe later into the week. So not a whole lot to talk about there. We might touch on it briefly throughout that, but everybody's got some crazy shit going on, so we won't spend too much time being too political. How's everybody doing today, Aunt Sheridan?
Man, I can't complain. You know, I'm having a good morning. I'm excited for today. It's a busy day, but it's going to be a good day nonetheless. You know, me and Sheridan hitting the stew. We're going to have process the pizza, you know, sung from the intro. That sounds like a golden lineup to me. So besides for how busy the day is and how I'm going to be running around like a chicken with my head off, I can't complain too much. What about you, Sheridan?
I'm not gonna lie. I woke up pretty anxious. I'm nervous about where we're going, but I don't want to dwell on that because today we got the podcast I'm excited about, and then we got a 10-hour studio session at D Brown's. I'm so excited for that. I'm gonna be able to link with Ant, Process, Blaine, possibly Richie. It's going to be a really crazy day. I'm going to get a lot of music recorded, a lot of sounds that I don't even know. Like, I wrote some of the songs, and some of the songs I'm just going to do when I get there.
Do what I do.
Yeah.
Do what you do.
I like being in the vibe. So that's how it's going to go. And I'm excited to meet D Brown. It'll be my first time meeting D Brown, being at his studio.
Crazy. I'll be there to break the ice. You feel me?
Yeah, and honestly, I don't even think the ice needs to be broken. He really likes my music. He messages me like daily about how excited he is to like record. I'm ready to go. Like I'm really ready to go.
That's what's up, man. It sounds like you both got a very productive day lined up for you guys. That's what's up. Happy to hear about it. I haven't really been up to too much, just been trying to catch up with school shit. Yesterday I did get out and vote. That was sweet. I was interested to see how the local stuff was going to go down. The stuff on the major scale doesn't have me too concerned because it's whatever's going to happen is going to happen. But locally, there was some stuff like marijuana on the ballot, some sports betting shit that I think is interesting as well. All of that passed for me in South Dakota, so I have some interesting stuff to look forward to there. That's cool, but in the grand scheme of things...
Like they decriminalized it.
Nah, it's recreationally legal and medically legal out here. I was very surprised. I was not expecting that.
New Jersey just passed that as well.
Yeah, and like I'm skeptical, you know what I mean? There's still a lot that I think they could try and do to make it difficult out here because it barely passed. So we'll see. I think medical will be a lot easier situation, but nonetheless, it's very cool. I think it's a positive situation just for everything overall. So that's good. Otherwise, in the grand scheme of things, still a lot up in the air.
Now that it passed, does it have to go through more processes before it's actually implemented? Like, can people still veto it, or now do they just have to figure out how to put it into society?
So I'm not totally sure, honestly. I know that there was a hemp bill proposed within the last couple of years that the governor of South Dakota straight up vetoed. I'm not sure if this can work in that same situation or if because it was a no, Sheridan, nah. So
I'm not. I'm 99% sure it's passed. Like I don't think there's anything that can be done. What I will say is the development is going to take a long time.
yeah.
Like,
Years. It'll take 2 or 3 years.
Yeah,
bro.
well, and with that, they have it set up where nothing's even legal until July, and it's still a process there. So, but it's something that I'm glad with it. Me being in South Dakota, I never thought that we would be in the middle of the pack in the U.S. in terms of getting it done early.
Beat New York.
Yeah, I thought it would be very, very late in the game. If it ever, it would just probably be a nationwide thing before it happened here. So I'm excited about that. There's a lot of cool opportunity that comes with that, I think. So that's cool. It's good for my area. But overall, like I said, the country is in a crazy place. So I hope that can go over well and we can just kind of get past it is my biggest thing. But let's talk about some interesting shit. I want to know what you guys have been streaming this week. Sheridan, I know you were streaming something that I thought was really interesting we'll probably talk about. But what have you been watching?
So I finished Hill House, which was awesome. Gonna finish it as one of my greatest shows I've ever watched. I think there's a lot of things that period. Like I wouldn't say like top 5, but top 20.
It would be one of the best thrilling horror shows I've ever watched. I don't
think there's a better thrilling horror show that I've ever watched.
You don't think there is a better thrilling horror show that you've ever watched? I have no problem with that, to be honest. Hill House.
Is there one that like jumps out to you?
Is there one off the top of my head that jumps out to me?
Yeah.
I've watched a lot of thrilling horror shit. You feel me? I typically go towards movies because shows don't provide that consistently. But Hill House is absolutely up there.
I just can't think of a show. Like there's definitely movies, like for sure, but I can't think of a show that does what Hill House does as well as it does that. Because Blind Manor was perfect, I thought. It did everything it needed to do, but Hill House the depth of Hill House was just unmatched by any other show.
Have you watched any of the like they do like YouTube shows explaining some of the background shits and the themes?
No, I need to though. I literally just finished it, and I think what Andrew was talking about is then I just watched Queen's Gambit, and that was another show. I thought it was better. I liked it a lot better than I liked Blind Manor, and I loved Blind Manor. I don't know. I just finished it last night, so I don't know like what I enjoyed more, Queen's Gambit or Hell House, but Queen's Gambit was amazing. Had me glued. I finished it in less than 48 hours.
That's amazing. That's real dope. Me personally, I've been watching. There's a new movie out on Netflix called His House, which is absolutely fucking nuts. I'm not gonna say it's the most scary shit in the world, but the immigrant representation that they had in the film matched with the way that they conducted a horror movie. I've never seen some shit quite like this in my life. I'm not gonna gas it and say it's one of the best things ever, but I really, really enjoyed it.
I just put that on my list.
Do it, bro. To see two African immigrants as the two stars of the film and see how their relationship plays into it. It was wild.
What's the name of that one again?
Crazy.
His House?
His House. Yes, sir. I heavily suggest it. It'll be a good show to just watch laid up in your bed at night with some snacks. You feel me?
Thanks.
Music-wise, surprisingly, I've been going back to this Lupe Fiasco EP called House. I'm not sure if any of you guys checked it out.
That was dope.
It was so crazy.
He did that. That was with Virgil, right?
Yeah, that was with Virgil, and I loved it when it came out. Don't get me wrong. All the thematic themes of the album play itself. You feel me? Dinosaurs. It's a song about dinosaurs. Shoes. It's a song about shoes. You know, it's very self-explanatory. But the way he goes about conducting a story, son. Oh my God. I've never heard stories like this. He just takes
and the thing about that EP too is like it's kind of deeper than that too, right? Like because he did an interview talking about that Dinosaurs track, and like how it's not just about dinosaurs, but it's supposed to be about like people. And then when you listen to it from that perspective, you're like, oh shit. And so that's a very dope EP, very dope project.
It's amazing. I mean, it's different. It's super different. I can't remember
really
the last time I listened to some shit like this.
It was.
Lupe is always doing some type of concept album, you feel me? He always has some deeper picture beyond just 7 to 10 tracks for you to listen to. But this wasn't like you're getting beat over the head with a concept or you have to think too hard. It's like every different song was its own concept, you feel me? As opposed to just an album where everything is one single concept. So I've really loved that. And it's probably what I've been going back to most besides this Process project.
Yeah, I've been listening to the Process project. So.
Oh, wait. Toby Negligee and Akeem Ali. I don't know if you guys know who they are.
I know the first person.
Toby is a fucking star. He's one of the most promising artists out of the South right now. Mm-hmm. And I shared a video the other day where it was like some rapper pretending to be a pimp. You feel me? Like, y'all remember that?
I didn't see it.
It was one of the smoothest things I've seen 2020. Keep Akeem Ali on y'all radar because son's gonna blow some.
Bet.
Did you listen to the Busta Rhymes album?
Of course.
What'd you think?
Thought it was absolutely amazing. I saw a lot of hate, and I'm not one for the hate. You feel me? I think Busta just dropped an amazing album 30 years into his career.
Yeah, I don't know how you could hate on it, bro. I thought he went crazy. I thought this was one of his best albums, honestly. I thought it was a lot better than what was the last one he put out?
I'll check right now.
I can't remember the last one he put out, but I thought this was much better. Back on My BS.
Yo, he already dropped the deluxe?
Yeah, I didn't even see that. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
I've been listening to the Common album a lot too.
I still gotta check that out.
It's not one of my favorite Common albums, but it's continued a sound that I really like to hear from Common. The Black Thought verse is awesome. A Beautiful Revolution by Common. It's like 7 songs. Really digestible.
It was a smart time, honestly, for both of those projects to drop with not a whole lot else dropping, honestly, because it's been a real quiet week. Like, for me, I haven't checked for a whole lot. In terms of what I've been listening to, it's mainly been Process's project. I've been listening to a couple of other songs here and there that I've been put on to. There's this track by an artist called Mooski called Trackstar. I don't know if y'all have ever heard that. It's a really dope track. But otherwise, I really haven't been listening to a lot of mainstream stuff, and that's why I think it's interesting you guys mentioned those 2 projects, because they are some that we should mention, but they chose a really good time to drop, because I think if they dropped up against like major artists, they might go even more under the radar. Right now, it's still easy for people to keep an eye on them.
The Busta Rhymes album, I think, was going to do what it does regardless, which isn't incredible sales, and it's not mediocre sales, because he's just at legend status. I think there could have been a little bit more promo for the album. I don't know what, because this shit's been in the works for 10 plus years, you feel me? So I don't know how you do more promo for that. But this shit was absolutely amazing, and I'll never shit on an artist 30 years into the game dropping an album unless it's blatantly their worst album. You feel me? Because then it's time to hang it up. But
Facts.
Busta's a legend. He's one of the most underappreciated and respected artists that I think we have. I was trying to talk to D Blaze, son. I'll call you out by name. And there's more of y'all youngins that need to get schooled on this old school hip hop. Try to say that Busta ain't got no lyrics or quotes. What is wrong?
You say you got no quotables?
He said Busta has no quotables, son.
Oh.
I threw a whole argument. Respect your opinion, bro, but you bugging.
Yeah, that's crazy. In terms of what I've been watching, I did watch Queen's Gambit, like Sheridan was talking about. I thought that was a really interesting show. I was really into it. I haven't really gotten too far into it, though. I think I'm only like 3 episodes. But so far, I'm really impressed with it.
Talk about this. Is it Amazon or Hulu?
Netflix.
Fact. It's like a brand new Netflix show. It's about like a young girl who's orphaned and learns to play chess.
I've seen the trailer for that. It's really bad.
It's crazy, bro. Crazy.
I would check it out.
Yeah, it's really good. I'm glad I checked it out, and I wouldn't have checked it out if I didn't see Sheridan's status on Facebook. So
It makes me want to get back into chess, honestly.
Oh,
yeah, that too. But
but
watching her play,
bust your mind,
I know I ain't
boy.
shit at chess compared to all that. So
Bust your
Maybe
mind.
checkers. You
nah.
seem like a
You
checkers
might
player.
you might get me in checkers,
You a
son. I'm
checkers
Oh
that
player.
ass
shit.
in
You a
checkers.
checkers player. I'm a chess player.
Yeah, all right.
We talked about how it's a quiet week
King me.
in Maine. Oh my god. We talked about how it's a quiet week in mainstream music. There was some interesting stuff that dropped locally though. We got a new track from Meech Booker and Saint Kid titled Butterflies. Chirp and Noxie dropped a track titled Into You. We got No Fucks from Nodis Vala and No More from Ryan Bronson. We also got some videos, More Than a Dream from Ty Burst. Nazi dropped a video called Do Me Like That. And then Mars from O3 Costa, Shawrax, and QG from Scar Studios. So a lot of dope tracks there. And then we got some albums. We got Candids from Process, which we've talked about. Then two other ones, Ski University from an artist named Sosa Briscoe, and an artist out of Syracuse named Ty Morris dropped a project titled Start, which I've listened to. I like quite a bit. I've actually got a track to play off of it later. So 3 projects dropped this week. We only were able to talk about one of them leading up to it, but 3 good ones.
3 very good ones. I haven't gotten to check out in totality the Ty project yet. But based off the singles and the albums that dropped, I got full confidence that another upstate artist coming in. You feel
Facts.
me? That Process album, we can't say enough about it. And you just brought up the Meech and Saint Kid track. Just a quick little. Here you go. That slaps. You
Facts.
feel me? It's good to see Meech back at it, and I know Sheridan feels like this. That every time you listen to it, it grows on you. You feel me? It just I can't name a time where I wouldn't be able to play that song. You feel me? I'm in a room full of like 30 dudes. Like if it's just dudes and a lot of them, I might not put on that song. Might get a little weird. Feel me?
Fuck
But
'em.
fuck them. Nah, they went ham, son. It was a great week for local music.
Nah, that's a fact. That's a fact. That song is dope.
It's been like a great time, I think, lately for the last couple of months for local music, where we've gotten some real quality projects over the last couple of months, and they've been spread out enough that each one gets the attention they deserve. So that's why I wanted to highlight these two. Ty Morris's project Start, I've gotten to listen to most of it, and I really like that. I can't speak totally on Sosa Briscoe's project Ski University, but I've seen it get shared quite a bit, so I imagine it's got some good content on there, and I'm gonna be looking to take a look at that one this week as
Well,
well.
and you
He
and you
makes some
know who
bangers.
just announced? You know who just announced they're dropping their
Corey
album with the
Loveless.
cover art. That cover art is so crazy.
It's
Facts.
gas, and I'm still convinced that I'm the one in the middle of the picture. I'm still convinced that's me.
That's
Damn,
hilarious.
that's crazy.
He did announce, so I'm looking forward to that dropping in December, just a couple of weeks away now. So yeah, good week for local music, and local music seems to be continuing to drop at a steady rate. So I'm excited about all of that. Uh,
Yep.
let's talk about some of the mainstream stuff we got to talk about. This first one is a little bit politically related, but I couldn't go this week without talking about Lil Pimp and his involvement in Donald Trump's campaign. I mostly just want to touch on all of the endorsements from people like Ice Cube, Lil Wayne. If you're unfamiliar with what I'm talking about, Lil Pump gave his endorsement to Trump during a rally just prior to the election this weekend. So, and Trump announced him as Lil Pimp initially. So I thought that was hilarious.
Do you consider Ice Cube's working with him an actual endorsement?
Fuck no.
No.
I don't consider Ice Cube an endorsement.
No, but
Lil,
I was
Lil
just
Wayne and Lil Pump were definitely endorsements, though.
I was just talking to my pops about this the other day, and I haven't gone to social media about this because I don't know. I feel like it's almost obvious what had happened. And if you're educated on the situation a little bit, you know it wasn't an endorsement. He tried to meet with the Biden party as well. Trump was the first one to actually sit down with them. And as soon as they leave, what is Trump gonna do? Like any fucking candidate would do, they're gonna hype the fact that Ice Cube was just in the building working on some shit to pander to the black vote and make it seem like Ice Cube endorsed him. Because most people are gonna see that and not even check if Ice Cube actually endorsed him or not. They're gonna
Oh, he's working with Trump. Like,
exactly. They're gonna cross him up. Like you have to. We have. I mean, if Trump is the president, we have to work with him. Unfortunately,
Right.
but what I think should have happened is that Ice Cube should have either did this a couple years ago or waited until after the election. Because when you do it this close to when people are going to vote and when we have to make our decision, anything is going to be ammo for one side or the other. They're going to use this. Like Lil Wayne was an endorsement. Lil Pump was a flat out endorsement. If you get Ice Cube, Lil Wayne, and Lil Pump, that's 3 different generations from the biggest culture in the world right now, which is hip hop. You feel me? Like that's gonna.
That was a power move, bro. It was a power move.
It was a power move.
People think that like it was dumb of him or that people don't listen to those people, but they do, bro. Like they do.
Right. I mean, Lil Wayne's fan base has been historically white and Asian for the past 10 plus years. You feel me? He still has a lot of black fans, but since he started making and crossing over to alternative music, I know a large community in the black community that has turned their back on Wayne well before he endorsed Trump. And if you've paid attention to the comments that he's made over the past couple of years, this is not a surprise.
Yeah.
He's been pro cop for a while, and this is how I feel.
Anti Black Lives Matter. Hey, Wayne is all lives matter.
This is how I feel. And this is not on every subject that Wayne has spoken on, but in terms of just being supportive of law enforcement, which I'm totally not. Fuck cops. But if I was Wayne, and I shot myself, and I was saved by a white cop, I might have a different perspective as well.
So, I mean, Wayne's situation is unique, and I don't want to get crazy into this, but I got shot, and a white cop came to my crib, and that does not make me forget history.
No, I agree. That is a really good point. That's a really good point. Wayne was also like he was like 11 or 13 or some shit like that.
I think he might have been like 8.
I feel like that's kind of just what makes it a little bit different, but
Wade also says he's never experienced racism in his life.
And that's just privilege. That's just privilege.
No, it's wrong. It's inaccurate because it doesn't matter how much money you got. Once you get to the top, you experience racism on the bottom. You experience racism on your way up. And you think these white niggas that are signing your checks they love you? No, you're making them money. You feel me? You're experiencing racism whenever you have to sit down with these people that are.
But you don't. That's all because he has the privilege to ignore it.
Well, money is a hell of a. It swings that a little bit, but that doesn't mean it doesn't happen. Yeah. It means that it doesn't affect you the same.
No, I agree. I guess that's what I'm saying is it's not about he has the privilege to not experience it. He has the privilege to ignore it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, exactly. He has I agree with that. He has the privilege to ignore it to himself. I don't think that means he has the privilege to ignore it on a world basis. You feel me? He should have the consciousness to know what happens to me. My personal experience as Lil Wayne, every fucking body's experience.
I totally agree with that. I just mean that's why he doesn't like the privilege allows him to be like, fuck that, I'm not gonna look at it or pay attention to it. I'm making money and living.
Saying he's against Black Lives Matter is one thing, but saying you're all lives matter and then denouncing Black Lives Matter, then
that's
supporting
crazy.
Trump like Royce. That's and crazy. Everybody know Royce is my favorite rapper. Royce posted on Instagram the picture of Trump and Lil Wayne. And he said, this is not the same dude that said real G's move in silence like lasagna. You are a legend in this culture forever, but you are going out bad, my man. And he said some other things, but I can't remember. It was more trying to hold him accountable. Like, you are a legend. People look up to you. This is not what you could do. Like, hey, look at this. Eminem is out here on the front lines, bro. Eminem's been saying fuck Trump, and if you support Trump, fuck you, you're not a fan of mine, since 2016. And he's getting shit for that, you feel me? While Lil Wayne's out here endorsing Trump at its core. And I don't know. Right. I think
it's crazy. It's crazy. I'm sad, bro. Like, Lil Wayne's like my goat. Like, I'm like, what the fuck?
At this point, it's like, I know once you get a certain class, bro, you're probably a Trump supporter, whether you admit it or not. You're probably going to lean more towards Republican values because a lot of them don't affect you the same as they did before you had $1 million. You feel me?
It says a lot about like you generally, like, because I think that you're right to an extent. I think that there are people that once they get into a certain position, they do reap the benefits, but it's not necessarily like they support them or they would be upset if they went away, but they do reap from them. But I think that's also a small percentage. I think in general, the people, once they get those benefits, even if they didn't realize it, now they're like, well, I don't want to give this up. I don't want to be taxed more now that I'm richer or anything. So they start shifting their mentality based upon the situation they lived in. Kind of what Sheridan was saying about like the privilege now that he's rich. He just doesn't really think about it. It's sort of the same situation there. So it's weird though. I think it's very strange because like someone like Eminem, he's in that same bracket. He should, in theory, be more on the Republican side, but obviously isn't. So,
Dave Chappelle has a skit that he put out in one of the most recent stand-ups that he's done. And by the way, Dave Chappelle is absolutely fucking goated. Just want to say that real quick. But he was talking about how he took 12, right, from entertainment industry, came back. We're about to have a black president, and how he couldn't support it more. How he was more excited for something he thought he'd never see, and then he saw his tax plan, and he was like, "Hold up, nigga, I just got this money." Like, yeah. He was like, "Hold up," and then he started talking about Trump, and he was like, "It might suck for y'all, but I think I'm about to ride this one out." Yeah. like these tax cuts are luxurious.
And the funny thing about that is like that shit, I think for some people did change over the last couple of years, but then for other people, and that's what I guess I mean, like you can sort of see what kind of people are, because over the last couple of years it has changed. And like with Ice Cube, you could see that's why he's definitively saying like, I'm not endorsing Trump, I'm not behind Trump, because he's not a person like that. I think with Wayne, he just don't really give a fuck, and it's unfortunate. Like you learn shit about people through politics and stuff like that, and you kind of learn like that's his views, but his music still rocks. So
did Dave Chappelle, am I thinking of someone else, or did Dave Chappelle campaign for Joe Jorgensen?
I don't think it was Dave Chappelle. I just watched a interview with him and David Letterman where I think he was just talking about getting Trump out the office. And I think he was supporting the Democratic Party loosely without like officially stamping it.
I swear I saw a comedian campaigning for George Jorgensen, and I thought it was Dave Chappelle, but I guess not.
She probably would have got more votes.
Yeah,
I mean, she got
like 2%, 1% of the votes.
Howie Hawkins got 0.2%.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So,
Kanye got 50,000 votes.
He 2024 though. 2024 though. He's coming back. I had the question on here. Is he done? He said he's not done. He's coming back. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it is interesting when artists get involved in politics, but I also can see where they have interest in it. You know what I mean? On either side of the scale. So it is what it is. Yeah, this next topic is one that I'm very interested in talking with you guys about because it just sort of popped up on my news feed. Spotify is offering an exchange of a boost in algorithm for a percentage of royalties from artists. So I don't know if this is necessarily going down to the independent level, how it's working, if it's like a major label thing, but they're apparently offering you, like, I would assume playlist placement or placement on some of their featured stuff in exchange for royalties for tracks. What do you guys think of this?
So I don't know if you know too much about the different types of playlists on Spotify, Drew. Mm-hmm. And even if you do, some of the people listening might not. Essentially what this means is that one of the main categories for the type of playlist that you can get on Spotify, and one of the ones that increase your growth the most, actually, it's algorithmic and editorials. Editorials are almost impossible to get on unless somebody chooses your song and places you on them. Algorithmic playlists are something that you can always work on as an artist, and the highest percentage you can get on your algorithm playlist is ideal. You feel me? That's your Discover Weeklies, your daily mixes, your release radars, blah, blah, So essentially what this is going to do is they're going to chop the fractions of a penny that they already give you, and they're going to put you in front of new users. And we have yet to see what the rate that they're actually going to pay is, and we have yet to see how many new users they're going to put you in front of and where. So two things that I think about this is, one, I just hope that it doesn't fuck up quality control, because Spotify is really, really good at suggesting music that I genuinely like from new artists that I wouldn't probably find out for a little bit, or maybe not at all. So I really hope that they're not just plastering as much local music. And as shitty as that may sound, it's just at the end of the day, everybody's putting music on Spotify. If any single person has this ability to them, then I don't think every person has music that should be in my playlist. You feel me? I want you, and you as in, or mine as in a general statement, mine, yours, anybody else's. The second thing that I think about this is that it's not as bad as people are making it seem on a local level, because the reality is most people aren't even getting streams to the point where they're netting some sort of income, and that's the goal. So depending on what the rates are and depending on how many people they put you in front of, this could actually be beneficial. If you're already not making any money at all, what's the harm in exchanging that for more listeners? You feel me?
Then at what point are you like, do you not have to be exchanging that? I just feel like it's gonna turn.
This is one, an experiment, and two, I don't think just because you opt in it, you have to stay opt in it forever. You feel me? I think you can get out of it whenever you want, and it's more so it's like a per release type thing. Like, and do you want your album to do this, or do you want the money you get back from it?
I'm worried this is gonna turn Spotify into SoundCloud, and this is what I've been worried about happening with Spotify for a while. That it's just gonna be, you play a song, and then like the next song that comes up is like some song with like 14 likes, and it sounds like it was recorded into like a Blue Yeti and to Adobe Audition with no mix. I don't want to, like, I am not optimistic at all that they'll be able to like keep quality control with them doing this. I know lots of people that put money into their music that frankly their music sucks. So if they're gonna like do that, like I feel like there's a lot of people who are gonna be willing to do that have shitty music, and it's just gonna make quality control go down tremendously. If it doesn't, then hey, but I'm just not optimistic.
I think this is a little bit extra. I was talking to somebody back and forth on Twitter about this yesterday. When I found out about this, I tried to look some of it up. I think, this will be some incentive for local artists to start pushing shit direct.
Well, and here's an interesting part. I think we probably glossed over it. It says they won't be placing random songs that you probably won't listen to on your playlist. This feature will only be offered for algorithm that determines radio and autoplay rather than fixed playlists they curate on their own. It kind of still fits what you're saying then. It still fits what you're saying then to an extent, because it's not going to mess with your own playlists that you've created, but in terms of stuff that they have created, it will change. And I don't think that I don't think that they're just going to take anyone's track who wants to offer it, though. I think they're more so going to be asking people who have like quality tracks or a decent amount of stream, because how else is it going to be an actual benefit for Spotify?
Well, wait, what?
Because they're keeping more royalty.
But if the songs suck, no one's gonna listen to them. So you guys are talking about quality control. At a certain point, like, it's not gonna take long for them to lose the credibility on Rap Caviar when half of it is shit quality music. People will just stop listening. So
it's not gonna be Rap Caviar.
Spotify doesn't give a fuck about the independent artists. They're worried about the labels that have artists that might not do big numbers, and now they can just say, okay, in your budget that we gave you for your album, we're going to also add $100,000 into this specific Spotify shit. And now they're going to have to recoup that. It's going to chop your streaming revenue in half and make when you pay back in advance, when labels are recouping, it's going to take twice as long now, because Spotify is getting double the money or whatever the rate is Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yep.
So that
I don't like this idea at all,
they have to
honestly.
give the feature to the local artists and independent artists at a base level, but that's not who they're worried about. It's the people that are receiving money from their streams that are gonna have to make that decision. Like, do I still want more
Well,
people?
and that's my point. Is I don't think those people are people. I don't think people who actually make music that would go on these playlists would want that. Like, I don't think, like, it's too much
Sure.
in terms of people who are signed and shit. You're not gonna give up more of what you already have for.
It's not their decision. It's up to the label that they're signed to, though. And the label is going to be about that because that means they get to keep the artist on their label longer because it's going to
The
take
labels
longer.
aren't looking to give up royalties. There's no way we're gonna sit here and say that the labels are looking to give up
Bro,
royalties
why?
to
Well,
Spotify.
that's not what they make their money off of, though.
Nah, but if you get new listeners, that could equate to merch sales and concert tickets. Like, there's bigger game. Stream revenue is fractions of a penny still. Like, if you sell an album, you get infinitely more. It's the chance that you might garner some fans. It's the chance that you might garner some fans or get some streams, and it breaks through so much that an album that probably would have got 20,000 sales is now charting because of the new listeners. You feel me? I'm sure the more money that you have, the more they'll push your song. I'm not expecting the base level local independent artists that aren't really getting stream revenue to be placed in front of many people to begin with. You feel me?
Then why is the worry quality control?
Because it depends on your algorithm. Like they will have the option to. I'm saying they probably won't push them to as many people. You'll probably get a couple new listeners as opposed to hundreds or thousands of potential new listeners. You feel me? I just don't. I like how Spotify is right now currently. And if they start doing this, it's just reminiscent of payola. You feel me? That's what it feels to me.
Well,
And
people are
the
already
industry-
paying to get on playlists like that shit anyway.
Well, Spotify
But
has
not through.
Spotify has a rule where you can't pay for playlists. If they find out you're selling spots on the playlist or you're buying spots on the playlist, they have full control to delete your account and not let you back on Spotify. That's in the fine print. You feel me? And I know artists personally that have gotten locked out of their Spotify account because all they do is pay for playlists. You feel me? And they try to stick. They're very stickler for that, and to see them kind of lean into it a little bit now is kind of concerning in a certain way. Like, this is payola. I can't imagine Spotify would do this because they're doing amazing. You feel me? But at the end of the day, they labeled it as an experiment, and so I'm not sure how long they'll keep it if users don't.
I just don't think it'll even pick up at all. I don't think there's going to be a lot of interest in many people in exchanging royalties for some algorithm placement on Spotify.
You're wrong.
Yeah,
people will do that.
I'm telling you right now, I get money.
Mad people will do that. I will do that.
Yeah, I'm talking about mad independent level artists. That which doesn't benefit Spotify. If mad independent level artists do this, it doesn't benefit them. They make nothing from that because at the base level, they're already getting a majority of whatever payment because they're only paying out pennies as it is. So a half a penny to another 50,000, 100,000 streams don't really mean shit to them. They're not, like you already said, they're not aiming to get the independent artists who will be the people who want to do this.
Dude, 50,000 songs get uploaded to Spotify a day.
Right.
Like, it's
You're
crazy.
talking to independent artists right now that, as skeptical as we are about the feature, just told you that we would both use it. You feel me? Like,
the people who will use it are not the people who it's intended for, though. That's what you just said.
But I think that they will still use it.
The other people,
like the major, like I don't think major
Majors
artists are
ain't
gonna do
independent.
some shit like this, which is what Spotify needs for it to be beneficial.
Anyone who signed will do it because they won't have a choice. Their labels will make them do it.
But I don't think the labels are signing up to do some shit like this because you're just giving Spotify more leverage. At this point, the only leverage labels have over something like Spotify at this point is the royalties to the music that they have.
Keeping an artist and gaining new fans for them while they're still under you is much more valuable than royalties could ever be.
You don't think about Blueface. How does an artist like Blueface with 2 million followers who watch him every day sell less than 10,000 copies? You don't think they would have loved to get free placements in return for just holding his album longer if they'll make that eventually with
Yeah.
the free listens that
He'll
they're
sell more merch.
exactly
He'll,
like all they have to do is hold artists because they're going to make it eventually. It's not like the music stops making money. They just have to wait longer for it, and they're going to get more because of it, and they keep their artists longer. Like the worst thing for this is for signed artists, in my opinion, because they're not going to have the choice to opt into it. It's going to be your
Well,
parent
if they already give up their royalties, why does it matter?
Because most people they don't give up 100% of their royalties. You feel me? Like you're still getting some stream revenue back, but if that's chopped in half and you're already only making 5 to 10% of your stream revenue, and we're not doing shows right now, like I don't know. Like to me, it makes perfect sense for labels, and maybe not for artists like Drake. Why the fuck would you do that? Not The Weeknd, not like that. That's probably what you're thinking about. I'm thinking about the artists who have a hit or two and they're kind of popping for a couple months, and then their album comes and they need promo. They need extra. There's a lot of those people, bro. There's a lot. The majority.
Yeah, I was just gonna say majority of people who break
that are gonna be here for the next year or two, maybe 3 years, 5 max. You feel me? And they need to capitalize what they can. And then once their fame's done in 3 to 5 years, they still own the album. They own it for eternity. So it doesn't matter if in 15 years it'll be tripled. It doesn't matter what the stream rate is. You feel me? People listen to the music. The labels can play the long game. Unfortunately, a lot of these rappers can't.
Right. No, I agree.
I don't know though. I think labels are getting less and less power. I think over time.
Almost. And Joe Budden on their podcast, they predicted that by 2030 there will be like 2 labels. Like it'll be like fucking like the parent labels. You feel me? Like I don't want to butcher what he said, but that's what he said, and I don't know.
He's probably right.
Everybody know it'll be interesting to talk to Jake about this when he comes up on the show, because I know he's
not a fit. It's
about this. You feel me? Labels are becoming obsolete more and more by the day, and that's not new. It's been like Soulja Boy. Was the first one to show us that. You feel me? Like when the internet became a thing and you have access to every single person in the world that has internet, labels started becoming
and that's
obsolete.
exactly why I don't think labels are going to be rushing to do something like this, because in terms of labels and what leverage they have over artists, the only thing that seems to be a consistent argument between artists and the labels is the fact of royalties, and that situation comes up all the time, even with major artists like Kanye West and Drake and shit like that. And so I don't necessarily anticipate the major labels to be exchanging royalties, because at the time, yes, these artists are lower level artists, but they don't know which song is going to be the next one. So I don't think they're going to be rushing to be.
True.
Go ahead.
Who are the rappers asking for royalties though? The one that have been in the game for a decade.
Because they have the leverage to ask for it now. That's what I'm saying. Like So my point is the labels aren't going to give up the leverage they have now to Spotify for playlist placement.
But what I was trying to say a little bit ago was that the prime real estate for them is going to be the newer artists who don't know exactly what they're doing, they have temporary buzz. You feel me? The artists that have tenure, who have been in the game, like Big Sean, like Tory Lanez, like Meek, like ones that have, and Lil Wayne, that have had problems with their masters in the past. I don't know if they'll ever use something like this, but there are people that have hit singles that have never made an album in their life. And even if they're just dropping a new single that they're not as confident in as the last one, I can see so many different situations where this could be beneficial for different people. But I just think it's schemy in general. Spotify could do this without charging anything and still be the rich company that they are. So I think that they're scheming. I think that they're trying to suck more money than they already out, but at least they're trying to give something back. So my opinion on this is a little bit different than most people's. Like I still probably will use this if they implement it, depending on how it works, just to try it out. But
Do you think
I'm like, it's annoying. I'm not pissed off at
you think you'll
Spotify, but
be able to do it for certain songs and not others?
yeah, hell yeah. And if you can't, I'm not doing it. I'm not giving you my whole fucking catalog.
I think they would get to pick. I think that they would. You think that they're just gonna let you say, you know what, I want to give you my shittiest one for
That
this placement, but I'm gonna keep my best one, so that way when your playlist sends 50,000
yo,
fans to my page, they're gonna listen to my best shit that I got. I'm not
what
gonna
did
give y'all
you
any of
say?
my good shit.
You said this was about radio and the auto spins, right? Like, so auto spins come from free users that don't have premium and don't get to choose every song. Not every artist has a radio. You feel me? You have to get a radio from your algorithm.
I don't got a goddamn radio.
What'd you say?
I said I don't got a goddamn radio.
And they took my radio away. Like my shit coming
Really?
through. Well, it's not there right now. So I'm trying to figure it. I'm trying to get the disses and the rep. But I'm just saying algorithms have your algorithm probably has to be working a little bit already before you can increase your algorithm. You feel me? It might not be a base thing. I don't know how you can increase your radio without having a radio in the first place. So you are probably right in the sense that it will be a little bit refined of a selection, but I do think it'll be widely distributed. I do think it'll be open to most consumers. Just because you don't have a radio right now or your algorithm's not looking like that doesn't mean you can't work on that. You feel me? So it's going to be something to strive for. There probably will be base requirements that have to be met.
Facts. And I don't know. I think overall it's very interesting. I'm curious to see what all the comments had to say about this one, because it is an interesting topic, and it's something that I think we'll see more of stuff like this. Maybe not this exact one, but I think we'll definitely see Spotify and Apple and all these other streaming services testing new stuff out to entice some of the independent or lower level artists and just the labels in general to get involved, because I think it's shaky for all of those. So.
Well, if you have a real fan base, if you have people that actually support your music, you should always have your music on streaming services so it's available. But you should be focused on actual sales anyways, selling physical CDs or online purchases through Bandcamp and things like that. You feel me? So I think this will be another way to give incentive to artists like that, to push a direct-to-consumer relationship.
And I think the biggest thing is we just don't even know how it's going to work or anything like that. It's kind of just an idea thrown at the wall and hasn't necessarily been implemented, and it's sort of up for interpretation. So.
If you check Twitter, people are like, it was trending for a little bit. People were like, I'm leaving Spotify now. Like, what streaming service are you about to use? Blah, blah. I was like, y'all corny. Like, come on.
I stick with the one I signed up with many years ago and can't be bothered to switch over. So.
Is that Spotify?
Yeah, that's it. I fucking hate Spotify sometimes, but I can't be bothered.
I love Spotify, man.
I'm considering getting a title.
I have a title. I just don't listen to
it's not a bad idea. I mean,
I have Spotify and Apple Music, but I don't listen to my Spotify.
It's hard to push your title. You feel me? I got a title just so I could track my shit like on every other streaming service. And it's just like you have to advertise strictly to titled users, and that's hard. You feel me?
Mm-hmm. No doubt. Yeah, I agree. All the streaming services are different. I think that Spotify just it has so many glitches on the desktop version that half the time I'm considering switching over to something else. But like I said, I just can't be bothered. It's what I signed up with first. So.
Yeah, the desktop version of Spotify is shit.
Mm-hmm. The next topic we got is an interesting one. Probably won't spend too long on this one. Let's talk about Kendall Jenner. She had a Halloween party. A lot of people were upset about this party. Definitely not a super serious topic, but depending on your thoughts on COVID, I guess you might be really upset about it. Jaden Smith also got some backlash because he had a costume wearing an oxygen mask, so poking fun at the pandemic, I guess. What did you guys think about this party?
Canceled. They're all canceled.
Yeah, man. I don't know. We can't have this type of malarkey going on. This is abhorrent. I can't.
These damn Hollywood celebs think they can do whatever.
Nah, happy Halloween. I didn't get a chance to see Jaden's outfit, but I did hear about what he wore, and I assumed it was because he was poking fun at COVID. I don't know what's the problem with that? There's a lot more offensive Halloweens and more important things to be worried about in late November or late October, early November. You feel me?
I still saw mad people dressed as cops, bro.
Yeah.
The fuck?
Yeah, I guess people were upset because he was dressing up as a COVID patient, and with people passing away from COVID recently and
Oh,
stuff.
you dressed up as a COVID patient.
Well, he's wearing a mask and a suit. So I mean, however you want to interpret that, it's very easy to interpret it as a COVID patient, I suppose. But because it's like a medical mask, an oxygen mask. So yeah, I don't know.
He's finished.
I could see the frustration with it, I suppose, especially if you're someone who had just lost someone to COVID or something like that. It might be distasteful. Beyond that, though, it's just a costume. I don't really give a fuck. The whole party thing, I also don't give a fuck. But I could see, again, I see why people are annoyed by it, I guess. But we're so deep into this pandemic and shit is just going left that if you're going to be mad about the party, you should be doing a lot more to get change just in general enacted. Otherwise, shit like this is just gonna happen, man.
I bet the people mad about the party like don't really do shit about the parties going on at the colleges.
Or they really want to go out to eat, or they do go out to eat. Like, there's so many different aspects of the pandemic that.
Not everybody, but a lot of people who are like so up in arms about like social distances and stuff, and I totally I wear your mask, like all that, but a lot of people who freak out about it to like another level, they all have their cheats, they all have their things where they think it's okay, and then they'll go yell at somebody else for doing something else that they don't think is okay.
And it is good to hold people accountable and shit,
I
but
agree,
at the same time,
just don't be a hypocrite. Just don't be a hypocrite. And that's what I've noticed with a lot of people who, especially like complaining about celebrities having a Halloween party, which a lot of them probably get tested regularly because they either are on sets or they're going to studios or whatever. It's a lot less likely that they're going to be passing COVID around than people at your local parties and stuff like that. So maybe worry about what's going on in your community because there's nothing you can do about them.
Exactly.
Yeah, I do agree with the end of what you just said. Like, I do not give a fuck about this. I hope that they practice social distancing, but these people are going city to city, state to state on the regular. You feel me? COVID hasn't changed that too much. They still have things to do. I even if they weren't doing anything for COVID, you feel me? I'm never going to link up with these people.
Right.
I am never going to pass them and get COVID from them. I hope that they aren't spreading it to other communities. And if they felt sick, they would quarantine and do whatever they needed to do. But I assume, like Sheridan said, they're getting tested regularly. Me too. I'm not too worried about anything Kylie Jenner does at her house with everybody.
Kendall, bro. It's Kendall.
That's how I was when he said, let's talk about Kendall Jenner. I just started laughing, bro.
Yeah.
But I think that I agree, and it is still serious because the numbers are getting higher. I'm pretty sure it's been
For sure.
like top numbers the last
second
couple
wave,
days.
bro.
Yeah. And so it is serious. Take it seriously. Wear your mask. Do what you can to help not contribute to the spread. But at the same time, like, I get it, man. We've been in this shit for fucking months now. Like, that's how this podcast started because we got locked down, and you can only go.
At week 32.
You can only go crazy for so long, and like I felt it on Halloween where that shit would have been. I could imagine if you have an option to go to a Kendall Jenner party or sit at your house on Halloween. I'm going,
I saw
dog.
this post that was like, is 5G still a thing or is that over now or some shit? Because everybody was freaking out. COVID is 5G and now nobody talks about it.
That's typically how those things come in. That's typically how those play out.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome.
So it's just, I get it, I guess, to an extent. Like, but at the same time, it as hard as it is, as shitty as stuff is, we got to continue to take it serious, help stop the spread. But in terms of like worrying about celebrities and shit, that is so silly when you have local shit to worry about. So
Agreed.
That pretty much wraps up our local topics that we needed to, our mainstream topics we need to talk about. We've got some interesting music to play. Before we talk about that, I want to talk about a new track that's dropping this week from an artist that we're playing later on. Saint Kid is dropping his track Location. We previewed this on the competition episode a couple weeks back. You guys will be able to find that on Spotify and all streaming services. It's one of my favorite St. Kid songs, so I'm excited it'll officially be available to stream because I've listened to it a ton of times just on the MP3 I have in my email. So I'm excited for that. We have some tracks lined up, though. Ant, you have one featuring St. Kid, right?
Yeah, I got. Am I starting it off?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you. So we talked about this track a little bit earlier in the show. This is Meech Booker featuring St. Kid, Butterflies. Just dropped this week. If you got a streaming service, add it to your library. I guarantee that you'll fuck with it.
Bet. Let's get it.
So she acting bougie, she thinks she rule me. We make a movie on my iPhone. Minded if I fuck it with the lights on. Took too many drugs so my mind gone. I do not care, the words in the air. Cause I done had too many drinks. You know that I'm with anything. So she acting bougie, she thinks she rule me. Get fuck with a bitch because that pussy be on boot cut. Don't fuck with a bitch because they always tryna shoot some. Don't fuck with a word you think too hard and it's gon' lose ya. Been fucked up since fucked up been a thing. Still whip that hoop, these girl if I switch lanes. Still say coach school me, get low, give me brain. She just give me what I'm in up. 2 weeks later and she still ain't got she acting bougie, she thinks she rule me. We make a movie on my iPhone. Minded if I fuck it with the lights on. Took too many drugs so my mind gone. I do not care, the words in the air. Cause I done had too many drinks. You know that I'm with anything. So she acting bougie, she thinks she rule me. Is it just me or when I walked in to get out of here? This paranoia got me thinking it's an op-ed. If it wasn't, would you let me know, girl? Always say you love me, it don't show, girl.
I know what you doing lately, not behind my back. And you think that I don't know, but I be seeing all your texts. And you said that you was down to ride, you fucking with your race. And that's why I put my walls up where I never get attached. I'll give the world to you, but my world's not right for you. Let me spend the night with you, it's just you and me. Make you comfortable, and you so hard to read. Don't wanna fight with you, yeah. I love you, baby, but I never tell. Got me so sedated, don't know how I feel. Like why she never hit me in the daytime. 2 a.m. and she hit me in the FaceTime. I'm just another fight I gotta have with myself. And she bad for me, but she bad as hell. Yeah, we been around the city and I'm late nights. Tell me that you love me, baby, I don't like to waste time. She said she get used to this, I said don't get used to this. She tryna rule me and the score keep like 2 to 6. Got 100 on me, cover shawty wanna fuck with me. Fuck with this, yeah.
So she acting bougie, she thinks she rule me. We make a movie on my iPhone. Minded if I fuck it with the lights on. Took too many drugs so my mind gone. I do not care, the words in the air. Cause I done had too many drinks. You know that I'm with anything. So she acting bougie, she thinks she rule me.
That's the new Meech Booker, Butterflies, featuring St. Kid. I really like that track. I really like both of these guys. I'm a big fan of both Meech and Saint and their sounds that they bring. Sheridan, what do you think of this one?
I love this song, bro. When I first heard it, I was a little thrown off because I wrote a song with the same sample, and I was like, "Damn, that's crazy." But honestly, they did it justice, bro. They did a really good job with it.
For a little bit.
I was definitely salty. I like 100%. I was like, but not at them. I was just salty at the fact that they dropped it. Yeah, I was just like, fuck.
Like, fuck St. Kid.
Nah, real talk, fuck St. Kid. Nah, he killed that verse, bro. I love that verse, for real. That's honest. I'm gonna be honest. It went from like throwing me off to probably my favorite verse from Meech and my favorite, or not my favorite verse, my favorite hook from Meech and my favorite verse from St. Kid. So I really fuck with that song. It's in my, I just find it in my head all the time. So it's a dope track for sure.
Nah, it's definitely something that I spent on the daily since it dropped. Like St. Kid popped up to my job one day and played this for me. Then I chilled with Meech and he played it for me. Right, but like this was before it released, and I was just like, yo, this is nuts. It didn't feel the same until I could listen to it on repeat, though. You feel me? Till you could play it 2 or 3 times in a row by yourself and really appreciate it for what it is. Every time I listen to it, it grows on me. This isn't the type of music I listen to when I'm by myself, no matter how fire it is. But apparently it is. Like, apparently it is. Like I've caught myself, like after I'm writing a song or I'm outside smoking and then I turn on this, and I can't. I don't know. It's just such a bop, and it makes me very excited for what's to come from both of them. I know Meech has some real heat in store. Can't wait for that to come out. And Saint Kid snapped on this. It showed a lot of growth from his part. I think the range that him going back and forth from the different tones really showed.
His range was crazy on that. His range was crazy. He was going all over the place, switching his flows, but he's gotten to the point where it's so smooth for him. He's not switching flows and it's coming abrupt. It's just like he's in a different pocket. And like once he really develops his voice into having it be really his own, it's gonna be crazy, bro.
It's been interesting listening to Saint. I've been a fan of his for like a year now, at least, just bumping his music, really getting into it. And I like the shift in his sound a little bit lately and how that's going. But I just, the one thing with Saint that I've mentioned to you guys is that I just need to see a little bit more versatility in his lyricism.
You don't want to.
I know that,
talk
bro.
About how he don't get attached. He doesn't get attached.
I told you, I get so attached, and he never gets attached. That
it's just, not. It hits
I'm
you.
bitter. I'm bitter as fuck. So nah.
So I do not relate to that. Like,
yeah. No, I. That's literally the only thing. When I hear, and it happens with major artists all the time too, so it's just like a critique of mine probably. When you hear certain things reutilized in songs, it does become just so. And when he did it in this one, it was like the best time I've heard it. So it's like if I hadn't heard it previously, it would be totally fine, and it still is totally fine. I listen to the track, I still really like it, but every time I hear that line, I'm thrown off a little bit because I know you don't get attached. You've told me 1,000 times, but no, but I fuck with his music. That's the only reason I have that critique in terms of like just work on the versatility of the lyricism there, because that's the only thing that's really holding you back, and that's not that bad. Like honestly.
Yeah, and like we've said on this podcast a bunch of times, he's what, like 16, 17?
Dude, he's
like,
insanely talented in the.
Like he's got like 9 months to go before he's 17.
And it's not even like you have to. It's not even like dude has to read a thesaurus and start saying all types of crazy shit. Just like if you know you've said something a couple of times in a track, like 3 or 4 tracks, probably best to hold that for a while. You know what I mean? Even if it does sound good. That's basically my only critique.
My next album.
Oh shit!
I'm just fucking with you.
But like seriously, it's just a critique I have. I hear Logic talk about his jeans all the time. I don't know if you guys know that. Jeans, bro. His jeans are all up in a crease and shit like that. So, no, it's something I notice with certain artists, and when I catch it, it's hard for me to get past it. So he could keep doing it all he wants, but every time I hear about him getting attached, I'm like, fuck, bro.
I think you called it out 3 songs ago, and then every song he's dropped since he's mentioned it again.
So it's like, dang.
Maybe he should. Do you think if he came out with a song saying he does get attached, do you think that
that would be a flip? Yeah, dude, there you go.
Would that be growth, or would that be cap?
Would
it be? Well, it could be a specific circumstance. You know what I mean? Like, damn, girl, like I don't get attached, but you got me attached.
I'm so attached. There you go.
He better never say he gets attached.
Never. He better never get wifed up, and never boo anybody up now. But. Nah, from the other side, though, with Meech dropping a track, I'm very excited about that. I hope that this is going to now be a consistent thing. As a Meech Booker fan, it has been very difficult trying to... Well, like, his music is great, so I go back to the same track all the time, but I'm like, fuck, man, just drop new music because I like your music. And you only have, like, a handful of music on Spotify, and then you go to the SoundCloud, it's sort of the same thing. So I'm looking forward to it. Ant, you're making faces. I know you know shit I don't know. So.
Oh, bro, I'm just making my natural faces. I'm sorry. It's just how my face works. You feel me? I don't know nothing.
Yeah.
I don't got no information that nobody else has. You feel me? Like I didn't hear no music or nothing.
Right.
I'll just say that Meech is a very talented artist. And if this is your favorite hook that he's ever put on a track,
Just
then
put out. It's my favorite one he's put out.
I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I've always described Meech as a walking hit. To me, him and Kelsey are enigmas and anomalies to me in the local scene. You feel me? For some reason, they're the most talented people that I can fucking like name
My
off the top of my head, son. And just the scarcity of music, I don't blame listeners for getting anxious or wanting more. You feel me?
my favorite verse from him is on "C'est La Vie," bro. He fucking murdered that shit.
He snapped on C'est La
He
Vie, and
fucking murdered that shit, dude.
that
It
was
was crazy.
I was listening to that last night, and just the way that whole track came about is just a gem. That was something that I was begging Kel's like, yo, you just make a song with me, son. He always wanted to. He just didn't know how it was going to play out. And when he decided to do it for his first debut project, it couldn't have came together more beautifully. Those are just two artists that I'll always have a soft spot in my heart for. You feel me? And I'll always be rooting for them. I can't wait for them to both drop some new music.
I can't wait for a full Meech project to be able to sit down, roll up, smoke, listen to Meech and some new music just back to back to back. I'm excited for that as a fan of Meech, like honestly. So I hope that in due time it's coming. So that's where just the drop of this track onto streaming services gives me hope. He's been pushing it like it's a single. He's been pushing it, so that's cool. It's good to see.
Sure.
The track I have lined up is from Ty Morris off of his project he just dropped this weekend. The track is titled "Lay You Down." Let's go ahead and play it. See what you guys think.
Let's get it.
Slow, I just wanna take it slow before we get down. Lay that down, lay that down, lay that down, lay that. Like the way you work it when you wanna. Ain't no need to hide it, girl, you're fine. I don't wanna waste no more time. Pass the blunt, I roll the marijuana. Girl, your body hotter than a sauna. Lay you down and I'ma put it on you. Lay you down and I'ma put it on you. You're in my conscience, word of my heart. Really wanna slide, but where do I start? Knowing I'm a dog, but I'm leaving my mark. Baby, you a drug, just call me Ozark. And I'm a fool for that. Ice cream, baby, give me 2 scoops of that. Hot girl, I ain't never too cool for that. I'm all in, tell me what you about to do with that. I'm just saying that a nigga really like the way you work it when you wanna. Ain't no need to hide it, girl, you're fine. I don't wanna waste no more time. Pass the blunt, I roll the marijuana. Girl, your body hotter than a sauna. Lay you down and I'ma put it on you. Lay you down and I'ma put it on you. Slow, I just wanna take it slow before we get down. Lay that down, lay that down, lay that down, lay that. Like the way you work it when you wanna. Ain't no need to hide it, girl, you're fine. I don't wanna waste no more time. Pass the blunt, I roll the marijuana. Girl, your body hotter than a sauna. Lay you down and I'ma put it on you. Lay you down and I'ma put it on you. Before we get down, lay that down, lay that down, lay that down, lay that.
And that's "Lay You Down" from Ty Morris off of his debut project Start. What'd you guys think of that track?
That was dope. I like that a lot. I think that there was some I feel like there was just one thing that it was kind of missing, which was just a little bit of a tighter flow on some of the verses, and maybe a couple lines that were a little more clever. But the vibe of the song was dope. I feel like I don't know how long he's been making music, but I feel like that's a really good. If that's his first or second project, he's at a good starting point for sure. I would love to hear him progress on that sound, because it was catchy. He had nice melodies. The mix was pretty decent. I think it could have had a better mix, but it wasn't too bad. I definitely am interested to check him out more because I don't think I've heard of him.
Yeah, this does make me want to check out the whole project. I was a fan of this track. I wasn't the biggest fan of the track, but the vibe was undeniable. He was gliding across that shit for a little bit. I didn't have any complaints with his flow or anything. I do think the mix could have been a little bit better. But I wasn't mad at it. It didn't keep me from liking the song. I think my favorite part about it was the beat and how we wrote it at specific times.
Yeah.
Really do think he was floating it when it kicked in. I can't remember if it was the verse or a bridge or something, but I remember just shit. And if he has a whole album of shit that grooves like this a little bit, this reminded me of like and granted, I don't want to compare him as an artist to this, but the vibe that it gave me was similar to a couple like Anderson .Paak tracks, Mac Miller and Haji beats. Or maybe, not Haji, I think it's Damo.
Damo,
yeah.
Reminds me of Damo.
Yeah.
Out of anyone you just named, reminds me of Damo.
I think
more auto-tune Damo.
Yeah, the Damo is who it reminded me of most. Like, I didn't want to compare him to Anderson .Paak or Mac Miller, but I'm talking about, I think Mac Miller and Anderson .Paak actually have a song together that this reminds me of.
Dang.
Yeah, dang, a little bit. That's the vibe that I was getting from this. And Damo heavy.
Yeah, I think this is a dope track. I think that Ty Morris is dope. I think from what I see, he's only dropped stuff this year on Spotify. So my guess would be he's just recently started dropping music or is just recently starting to take it more serious, which is dope. This is a solid debut project, a nice little 8-track, 18-minute project, real easy to consume. Like I said, it's called Start.
Perfect.
By Ty Morris. He's out of Syracuse. Process actually put me onto this one. He messaged me and said, yo, this dropped. It's got no skips. Tune in. And it was short enough that, of course, I would oblige to that. And it's a good project. So I'm excited to, Ty Morris right there. Find him on Spotify. Check out the project. Just dropped on October 29th. Good stuff. Sheridan, what do you have lined up for us?
I believe it's a Kingdom. Yeah. I have an artist who I have known for a while now. It's weird that we haven't made a song yet because I've probably known him for 2 years. He's in the phone. If any of you've seen the Phonies video, I know you guys have. He's in the Phonies video with me. He connected me with the guy who shot that. He connected me with a friend in Miami who ended up shooting the Road Less Traveled video and a couple other videos that I have coming out in the future. So this is Kingdom Come 33rd, produced by Ruin, who is also a producer of mine.
Bet, let's get it.
You wrote about the lunar solar cycle, in which everything repeats itself every 33 years.
Yes, from a cosmic point of view, right? In our oscillatory universe, every 33 years, the moon's orbit becomes synchronized with the sun's.
Yeah.
But that number, it reoccurs in our world everywhere.
7 days of creation, 7 seals of revelation, 7 stages of alchemical transformation, 7 days of the week, 7 visible planets, 7 chakras, 7 candles on the menorah tell you 77 times over heavenly melody chimes. Systematically they oppress, disguise it in the cloak of benevolence, lie soaked in irrelevance. They sell us hope packaged dope, then call it medicine. They got us hanging from a rope, see it's so evident. So why we bother knocking when they don't let us in? Depraved insanity, enslaved humanity. 666, the numb of the beast takes calamity. 33rd degree murder spree orchestrates like the symphony. Create a problem then offer the victory. Y'all unaware of the enemy's force. Hook you to a machine and leech your body heat for energy source. The golden rule is there is profit in confusion. Create the problem and then they offer the solution. The more confusion, the more profit. It's catastrophic. The all-seeing eye watches through fiber optics in the World Wide Web. The spider's about to get fed. Cyber, virus, toxic. Study papyrus, Osiris doctrines. Before it's too late and female line the streets of coffins. Master your energy, spirals of infinity. Perfect symmetry, alkaline density. Mentally, the deadless weaponry spoke about for centuries. Practice alchemical chemistry.
There are 33 litanies of the angels. Dante's 33 cantos enveloped purgatory, and 33 more in his paradise. It's also the age at which the
And that's 33rd by Kingdom Come. That's an interesting track, Sheridan. I would be curious to see you work with him, just to see what type of music you would come out with, bro.
So he has other songs that are like I played this because he has other songs that are nothing like this, but this I've just never really heard. I mean, I've heard songs kind of similar, but I've never really heard him do something totally down this alley. That's like such a he loves to do very focused like thematic songs, but this was like a much darker type of thing than he usually does. So this was really interesting for me to hear. It definitely isn't like one of my favorites from him. But like lyrically, there's some points where he just goes fucking nuts, bro. And he does it a lot, but on this one, it's just like stuff that I've never really heard him say before. So I'm like, wow, this is fucking insane. And I don't think I mentioned he's from Asheville, North Carolina. So that's where I shot the Phonies video with him, and actually he lives in Asheville, North Carolina. He's from Miami, so that's why he connected me with his friend when I was in Miami and shot those videos.
I got you. That shit was definitely dope. It's definitely lyrically dense. He showed a lot of what he can do with words on that track. I do think he was sticking to themes at least throughout throughout the song. What was it called again?
33rd.
33rd, yeah.
Why do you know why it was called that?
I mean, it just seemed like he was talking about a lot of 333 stuff. I don't know.
I'm not sure. I just wanted to see if there was any correlation that would give to the theme of the track.
And just put you on the spot of why someone else named their track 33rd.
I don't fucking know.
I'd be like Larry Bird. That's Danny Granger. That's what comes to my mind. But I know that had nothing to do with it. I think
it's about symmetry and just weird fucking biblical shit.
For saying that this was a switch up, he did that pretty effortlessly. It sounded like this was what you could expect almost every song.
He raps like this. It's just thematically, he doesn't usually go so dark.
I was a fan of the production. This wasn't the first time I've heard Kingdom Come. I looked him up and listened to him because you told me to. I think I like this better than what I listened to previously. It was a little bit of a switch up. Like whenever I'm a sucker for beats like this. I'm a sucker for bars, multi-syllable words, you feel me? Long connecting schemes throughout a track. I fucked with it. There was a couple areas throughout the song where I was like, okay, he's just rhyming words to rhyme them at this point. But then he would always bring it back with some heavy shit, you feel me? And it would make me not really think that so much. So I'm interested to see what else he could do with words, you feel me?
Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys know that this isn't generally my favorite type of sound, but I don't think there was anything wrong with it. I thought it was a good track. It's just not. It just ain't what I really get into. I'm looking forward to you dropping a track with him though, Sheridan. I would really like to see you get into a different type of bag.
We've talked about it a bunch of times, and I think now that I've been working on a lot of boom bap stuff lately, I think it's gonna be possible for us to work more seamlessly.
For me.
Facts.
What'd you say?
I said save a 16 for me.
I will, for sure.
We're just going to have the Cypher collab tapes at this point, at the rate you guys have been working. That wraps up the music we have to play. What do you guys got going on? Anything dropping this week? Anything specific? Ant, you were just talking about some exciting news that by the time this airs might even be there.
Shit, let's hope so. I'm excited. Cartel is about to hit 10K today. That's a little bit sooner than I anticipated. So I appreciate everybody still tuning in, sharing the post, giving me feedback on the video. You know, in times like this is exactly what it was for. I was trying to get people out to vote. We had a record-breaking year. A lot of people went out and voted, especially compared to last election. And granted, that's not due to me, but I'm just glad that's what I was pushing for. It's just dope to see that it actually turned out. So Cartel, the audio is going to be on streaming services on Friday, November 6th. And now that we've reached 10K, I'm going to get on to announcing my next single. So once I get this cover art wrapped up and I figure out what day I'm going to drop it, I'm going to put it out to you guys and announce it. So thank you for getting me to 10K. This is by far the quickest we ever reached that on YouTube. And I'm hoping to continue that with the next videos that I have to drop.
Give it 10 more. Hell yeah, that shit deserves it, bro.
Thank you.
That's just great video, great song. Keep running it up.
Fact. Shout out Zakai for that too. We shout him out every time,
Yeah,
but his work just keeps getting
I went
better
down.
too. Zakai
Yeah,
in
he's just always
2020 has
getting
been
better.
fucking interesting. Like,
Bro, when his 2020 reel is gonna be crazy.
mhm.
His 2020 reel is gonna be crazy.
And that just means 2021 is gonna be even better. So
Yeah,
it's
because he just keeps getting better, bro.
The world's gonna be more open in 2021, presumably.
Yeah,
and he's making the right moves. So
facts.
what do you got
Facts.
going on, Sheridan?
Studio session. I'll be in it as this episode airs. So I'm excited for that. We're gonna get a lot of work done. I'm trying to just compile, and like roll out for 2021 like crazy. I want to put out a couple projects at least, and I'm ready to do it. And I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna do it the right way. I'm gonna have it in the system months early. I'm gonna be putting real marketing campaigns behind this stuff. Like I'm not playing around next year. It's gonna be crazy.
That's
Looking
good to hear.
forward to it, man.
Upstate Aesthetic. Don't forget to Upstate.
Yeah,
Aesthetic.
like Upstate Aesthetic on Facebook. Check us out on Instagram. I've been getting that going up a little bit more. That's cool. I want to shout out this clothing brand out of Buffalo, Fuck Network. They sent me a hoodie. I bought it. It's not like it's not like something where I'm sponsored or anything. They sent me a hoodie, and I think that local brands are dope because that do shit like this, because he got me my merch in dead ass 4 days. I have a friend who bought
crazy.
from a local brand where he has been waiting over a month and a half for a pair of sweats. That it's frustrating as a consumer because you want to support local and then some shit like that happens. So the reason I want to take this time is not to dog on that company, but more so to say shout out to Fuck Network. You can find them on Facebook. Santana Pouncey posts a lot of the stuff that they have for sale directly on his Facebook, and it's great quality stuff. It's a really comfy sweatshirt. It was really well priced, and like I said, I got it in 4 days, which is the reason that I feel the need to shout it out, because that's quality shit right there. When you're getting merchandise that quick, that's what you want, especially from a local company. It doesn't get any better than that.
And Drew puts his money where his mouth is, because I just bought a shirt from him and I got it in 4 days as well. So
that's a fact. And Sheridan even got a meme with his. So
yeah, I got a meme, bro.
I was kind of upset, bro. I ain't get no meme. I ain't get no nothing. You feel?
It's because you're not better than J. Cole. Like
I was shaking
yeah.
What the fuck else was in it, bro? There was nothing. But I got the Upstate Aesthetic long sleeve. The day before, I got the 607 Sound sweatshirt, and I'm waiting for my man from Rochester, I believe, Best Point of View TV. I copped a Fire sweatshirt. They got some colorful Johns. I'm waiting for that, and I'm gonna be rocking these gears sometime in the music video, putting on for the local brands. You feel me?
Yeah.
If you got it, cop it, bro. You got
That's
it.
what I'm saying, bro. Like, and some of it, like, at this point, I find it so much easier to spend on local, like, clothing and shit like that, just because I want to support.
Your headphones too.
Yeah, I just like to support the shit that's going on. You know what I mean? The same shit I'm doing, basically. It's hard. It's much easier to garner support by giving it, and I think local artists can learn that type of thing. Creating those type of relationships with the local brands and shit can go a long way.
I know so many people out here that be like, if you don't fuck with me, I'm not gonna fuck with you. And I remember Sheridan said that a couple years ago or something. And not to put you on blast, because that's a couple years ago. We way past that. But there's people today that are older than all of us that'll dead ass post on Facebook chasing a fucking rap career, saying if you don't share my post, I'm not gonna share yours.
Yeah.
What type of childish shit is that? Go back to the playpen and throw some rubber balls and build some blocks. You feel me? Because that's a childish ass mentality.
And it ain't gonna get you nowhere. You gotta support to get it.
Nah, exactly. And you should want to support out of a genuine place in the first place. It shouldn't be contingent on anybody else, because that's not true support if that's the case. You feel me? And you can't expect true support back if you don't know how to give it. So suck up your pride, and like I said, get it if you got it. And even if you can't support with money and buying merch, share it, watch it.
Share, all that. Yeah, I was going to close this out by saying thank you everyone who has supported us just by watching the Cypher every week, sharing it. Thank you everyone who was supported by buying Upstate Aesthetic merch. I still got some long sleeves available. If you're interested, hit me up. But I appreciate all the support. So,
do you have any extra swalls?
Nah, no extra smalls.
Do you have any smalls?
I have a small, yeah.
Okay.
There you go. So we're going to play a little bit of Chicken Spot, get out of here. As always, appreciate the support. Thank you guys for sharing, tuning in with us. It's been an awesome show. Till next week, we'll see you later.
Sheridan, throw it up gang size.
Hey yo, I pulled up to the chicken spot, got a 6-piece, one biscuit and a stupid watch. Don't make me pull a biscuit out, the shit get stupid watch. Since when they sell Rolex at a BB spots? Goddamn man, I could never tell you. I ain't rolling with no fucking tools, but we come and drill you. Two styrofoam cups up, we gon' come and spill you. When the bill due, young dude, we gon' come to bill you. I pulled up to the chicken spot, got a 6